Let me tell you something that I never thought I would ever say out loud. I got rid of Windows. Completely. I wiped it off my computer, I said goodbye to Microsoft, and I replaced it with something called Linux. And honestly, the difference has been so insane that I just had to make this and talk about it, because I think a lot of you are going through the exact same frustration that I was going through. And you deserve to know that there is actually a way out of this madness. So let me start from the beginning, because I think most of you are going to relate to this more than you think. For years, and I mean years, I was dealing with the same nonsense that comes with every single version of Windows. You know exactly what I am talking about. You are right in the middle of something important. Maybe you are finishing up a document. Maybe you are on an important video call. Maybe you are just trying to get something done. And out of nowhere, your computer just crashes on you. Blue screen. Just like that. Everything gone. And you sit there staring at that screen thinking, why does this keep happening to me? And the worst part is, it keeps happening over and over again, no matter what you do. You update your drivers, you run diagnostics, you search online for fixes, and nothing really works for long because a few days later, boom, it happens again. That was my life with Windows for way too long. And then there are the updates. Oh my goodness, the updates. Microsoft has this absolutely incredible talent for pushing an update to your computer at the most inconvenient time possible. You step away from your desk for 2 minutes, and you come back, and your computer is restarting, just like that. No warning, no asking for your permission. Just restarting right in the middle of your work. And sometimes these updates take forever. You sit there watching that little loading circle go round, and you are thinking about everything you had open, every tab, every document, every single thing you were working on, just gone because Windows decided it was update time, whether you liked it or not. I cannot even count how many times this happened to me, and I just sat there feeling completely powerless. But wait, it gets even better. Because after all these years of dealing with crashes and forced updates, Microsoft then comes along and tells you that your computer is not good enough to run the new version of Windows. They roll out Windows 11, and suddenly millions of people find out that their perfectly fine computers do not meet the hardware requirements. So now what? Now you either stay on an older version of Windows that is going to stop getting security support, which means you're just sitting there exposed to every virus and hacker out there, or you go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a brand new computer just to run an operating system. That is not a choice. That is a trap. And I was done with it. I was completely done. And let us not even forget about the telemetry and the spying. Because yes, that is a real thing. Windows is constantly collecting data about how you use your computer, what you do, what you click, what you search, what programs you open. Every single day, Microsoft is gathering information from your PC, and there is really not much you can do about it because it is baked right into the operating system. On top of that, every version of Windows comes loaded with bloatware and adware that you never asked for and never wanted. Random apps sitting on your computer, taking up space and slowing things down. It is like buying a brand new car and finding out the dealership already filled. The back seat with stuff you do not want, and you cannot really get rid of it. That was Windows for me, and I am willing to bet it has been Windows for a lot of you too. So I started looking into Linux. Now before you close this out, thinking this is too complicated or this is only for tech people, I want you to stay with me, because that is exactly what I thought too. I am not a Linux expert. I was a Windows person for most of my life, and Linux felt like something only programmers and tech nerds used. But here's the thing, I was wrong. And I think you might be wrong about it too. Linux is an open source operating system, which in simple terms means it is completely free. Not free like a free trial, not free like free for 30 days and then you pay. Completely free, forever. You never pay for a license, you never deal with activation keys, you never have to worry about Microsoft telling you your license is not valid. It is just free, and people all over the world use it and love it. There are actually many different versions of Linux out there, and they are called distros, which is short for distributions. Each distro is designed a little differently and appeals to different kinds of people. But for someone who is coming from Windows and wants something that feels somewhat familiar, there is one distro that stands above the rest for beginners, and that is Linux Mint. I chose Linux Mint specifically because when you look at it, it actually reminds you of Windows in a lot of ways. The layout, the menu, the folders for documents and downloads and pictures and music, it is all there in places you would expect to find them. So the learning curve is not nearly as steep as you might think. It is different, yes, but it is not alien. And for someone who just does the same basic things every day, checking email, doing some online banking, opening documents, watching videos, browsing the web, Linux Mint handles all of that beautifully and without any of the drama that comes with Windows. Now, let me walk you through how I actually did this, because I want you to see that it is not as complicated as it sounds. The first thing I did was go to Google and search for download Linux Mint. The first result takes you to linuxmint.com, and from there, you go to the download page. For beginners, the Cinnamon Edition is the one you want. It is the most popular version and the most user-friendly. You just scroll down, pick a download mirror that is close to you, and let it download. The file is called an ISO file, and it is a bit large, so it takes a little while depending on your internet speed. While that was downloading, I went ahead and downloaded a program called Rufus. You can find it at rufus.ie. Now, the official Linux Mint guide actually recommends a different program called Balena Etcher, but I ran into issues with that, so I went with Rufus instead, and it worked perfectly. Rufus is a small program that takes that ISO file and writes it onto a flash drive so you can use it to install Linux. You are going to need a flash drive for this, either 8 gigabytes minimum or preferably 16 gigabytes. Make sure there is nothing important on that flash drive because the whole thing is going to get wiped during this process. Once the ISO finished downloading, I opened Rufus, made sure it detected my flash drive correctly, clicked Select to choose the ISO file, and then just hit Start. It asked me to confirm that it was okay to erase the flash drive. I clicked Yes, and then it just did its thing. When that green bar at the bottom said Ready, the flash drive was done. That is it. That is your Linux installer, right there on that little USB stick. Now, here's the part I actually really loved. Before I wiped anything off my computer, I got to test Linux first. When you restart your computer and boot from the flash drive, it loads what is called a live version of Linux Mint. This is a fully working version of Linux running directly off the USB drive. You can browse the internet, open programs, look around the whole system, and get a real feel for it without touching your Windows installation at all. Nothing on your computer is changed, nothing is deleted. It is literally just a test drive, and I think that is brilliant. I spent some time poking around, and honestly, within about 20 minutes, I was already comfortable enough to know that, yes, this was going to work for me. To boot from the flash drive, you have a couple of options. In Windows, you can hold the Shift key, click the power button, and select Restart. That brings up a menu where you can choose to use a device, and then you select the EFI USB device, which is your flash drive. Another way is to restart your computer and tap a key like Escape or F1 or F9 when it first starts booting up. And that brings up a boot menu where you can choose the flash drive. Either method works just fine. So, after spending time in that live environment and deciding I was ready to commit, I clicked the Install Linux Mint icon on the desktop. The installation process walked me through everything step by step. I selected my language, set up my keyboard layout, connected to my Wi-Fi network, and then I checked the option to install multimedia codecs. Codecs are basically what allow your audio and video files to play properly, so this is something I would recommend checking. Then came the most important screen of the whole installation, the one that asks how you want to install Linux. Since I was done with Windows completely, I selected the option that said erase the disk and install Linux Mint. And yes, I want to be very clear about this. Once you click continue on that screen, there is no going back. Your hard drive gets completely wiped. Windows is gone. Everything on that drive is gone. So make absolutely sure you have backed up anything you care about before you get to this point. After that, I set my time zone, created a username, and here is a small thing I did not know before doing this. Your username in Linux has to be all lowercase letters, no capitals. So if your name is something like Sarah, you would type Sarah in lowercase. Then I created a password and chose to have my computer log in automatically. Linux still uses that password when you need to install software or update drivers, but it skips the login screen on startup, which is convenient. After that, the installation just ran on its own, and Linux Mint showed me a little slideshow about things you can do in the system while it was installing. And then it was done. I restarted the computer, pulled out the flash drive when it asked me to, and Linux Mint booted up for the first time. A welcome screen popped up and walked me through some first steps. I customized my theme and colors, which, by the way, Linux gives you a ton of options for dark mode, light mode, different color schemes, all built in and all free. Then I opened the driver manager, which went out and looked for any hardware drivers that my computer needed, because just like Windows, Linux needs software drivers to talk to your hardware properly, and it is good to make sure everything is up to date right from the start. Then I checked out the update manager, and this is honestly one of my favorite things about Linux Mint. Instead of random updates just happening in the background and then forcing your computer to restart, the update manager shows you every single program you have installed and tells you which ones have updates available. You can select all of them at once, or pick and choose, and then it installs everything right there. No surprises, no forced restarts. You are in control of when things update, and that alone felt like such a breath of fresh air after years of Windows doing whatever it wanted, whenever it wanted. I also spent time in the software manager, which is basically like an app store, but completely free. There are over 30,000 programs you can download and install directly from there. I recognize so many familiar names. VLC for watching. Videos, which is something I already used on Windows. Discord, Dropbox, Steam for gaming, Blender for creative work, Google Earth, and so many more. A lot of the tools and programs you already use on Windows either have Linux versions or have very good alternatives that do the same thing. And if you have a Windows program that you absolutely cannot live without, there is something called Wine, which is basically a compatibility layer that lets you run certain Windows programs inside Linux. It does not work with every single program, but the more popular the software, the better the chances of it working. There's also VirtualBox, which actually lets you run an entire Windows operating system inside of Linux if you really need it, so you are not completely cutting yourself off from Windows software if that is something you are worried about. Now let me talk about security, because this was one of the biggest things for me. On Windows, I was spending money every year on antivirus software because honestly, you kind of need it. The risk of getting a virus or malware on Windows is just so high that going without protection feels reckless. On Linux, that risk drops dramatically. It is not zero because no system is completely immune, and as Linux becomes more popular, you are starting to see more attempts to target Linux users too. But the reality is that the vast majority of malware out there is written to attack Windows because Windows has the biggest share of users. The bad actors go where the most victims are. On Linux, you are going from something like 100% risk level on Windows down to something around 10%. That is a massive difference. And I have not spent a single dollar on antivirus software since switching. And if you have an old computer that Microsoft told you cannot run Windows 11, do not throw it away. Seriously. Linux can run on hardware that is 10, 12, even 14 years old, and it will run well. There is actually an old saying in the Linux world that you can run Linux on a potato, and honestly, that is not too far from the truth. If you have a machine collecting dust because it cannot handle the latest Windows version, put Linux on it, and you might be amazed at how fast and smooth it actually feels. And if you want to make it even faster, upgrading from an old spinning hard drive to an SSD will make Linux feel like an entirely different machine. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to be real with you about one very important thing, because this is something I wish someone had told me before I started. Before you wipe Windows off your computer and install Linux, make a Windows installer first, put it on a separate flash drive. Because what if you try Linux and it is just not for you? What if you miss Windows, or you have some specific software that you absolutely need and it just does not work in Linux? The only way to go back is if you have a Windows installer ready to go. Without it, you are stuck. So please, before you follow any of these steps, create that Windows installer disk and keep it safe. That way you can experiment with Linux completely knowing that if things do not work out, you have a way back. That safety net makes the whole thing a lot less scary. The bottom line is this. Switching from Windows to Linux Mint has genuinely changed the way I use my computer. No more random crashes, no more blue screens, no more forced updates in the middle of my work, no more feeling like Microsoft is watching everything I do, no more paying for licenses or antivirus software, no more being told my computer is not good enough. I have full control over my own machine again, and that feeling is something I did not even realize I was missing until I got it back. Is Linux perfect? No, there is a learning curve, and some things work differently than you're used to. But for anyone who does the basic everyday things on their computer, it is more than enough, and in many ways it is actually better. If you're tired of Windows and you are even a little bit curious about what else is out there, give Linux Mint a try. Start with the live version on a flash drive. Test it out, poke around, see how it feels. You might just surprise yourself.